So go ahead and tell me, what made you want to run for judge in Angelina?
I want to run for judge because I want to serve this community. It's important to me. I've always given back. Since graduating from law school, I've provided over 2,000 hours of pro bono legal work and volunteer time. And I believe it's important. Our district judges have done a very good job serving our community with the robe on and off, out there being involved. The other reason why is over 20 years I've been practicing in courts, fighting jury trials, representing people, plaintiffs, defendants, and all types of subject matter. I really love the concept of the jury trial and being in court. And one of the things that still gives me goosebumps is if one of our forefathers were to walk into a courtroom today, they wouldn't recognize technology or all the comforts that we have, but immediately they would recognize this is a courtroom, there's the judge, here's the jury, and these are the lawyers representing their parties fighting for a verdict. And so I'm honored to run for this position, and I look forward to having it.
Perfect. And how will you make sure everyone gets a fair shake in your courtroom?
So I believe as a judge, you have an obligation for no matter where that person comes from, who they are, or how they got there, they deserve to be treated fairly and with respect, and to ensure that the law is followed and applied to the facts of each case. And that's how you ensure that every person feels comfortable there, and whether or not they agree with the ruling, at least they know that they were treated with respect and the law was followed.
Perfect. What is one big change you would like to see in the courtroom, and how would you work to make that happen?
So there's a couple things, if you don't mind. One, we have a criminal backlog going on in our court system, so we need to work with our justice partners to be able to figure out a way to clear the backlog. I'd love to work with Judge Cassaw, the DA, the defense bar, the adult probation office, the constables, the local police department, and all the other people that are vested in helping clear that backlog. The other thing I think it would be important is because our county has gotten so big and we do have such a backlog, I think we need to request that our new state representative and our new state senator, who should be elected in November, we'd ask them to carry a bill in the Texas legislature and request a brand new district court for Angelina County. Because notwithstanding our efforts to clear the backlog, I think we really are at this point in our time in this community, we're in need of another district judge to help out and serve our community.
For sure. And you're replacing a judge who's been here a long time in Angelina County. What would you do differently or carry on the same that he did?
So I have great respect for Judge Bob Enselman. He's a good man and a great judge. And I'm committed to carrying on all the good work he has done on the bench and off the bench. And what most of people do know, and some people don't, is when he takes off his robe, he is out there in the community. He is visiting people. He's going out. He's attending meetings. He's volunteering. He's helping people get jobs who really need it. And so I would like to carry on what he has done. And if it's possible, I would like to try to find ways to complement all the things he's done in our community.
Perfect. And my last question to you is, what makes you the best candidate from the other candidates who are running, and why should somebody vote for you?
So I think I'm a great candidate because I have real trial lawyer experience in courtrooms fighting in East Texas. I'm fortunate I've tried a lot of cases to a verdict in Angelina County, Nacogdoches County, Polk County, and all across our great state. And I do have a unique background. I originally did not intend to become a trial lawyer. I have a college degree in finance. Then I got an MBA in finance, and I intended to be a business lawyer, but my first job in law school was with a former state trooper who was fearless in the courtroom. He became a trial lawyer, and that experience changed my life and changed my career. And I believe that all of my experience in the courtroom made me a great candidate to understand the complexities of trial and also treating people fairly and knowing how our justice system works.
So tell me, what made you want to run for judge in Angelina?
So I've done a lot of good for the city as city attorney, but I really feel like as a district court judge, I can do a lot more, especially with the 5,000 cases that have been backlogged, that are felony cases, been indicted, have not gone to trial.
Gotcha. And how will you make sure everyone gets a fair shake in your courtroom?
So the good thing about me is that fairness is really important to a judge, and I'm a constitutional conservative. I feel like the rules need to be based on the statutes and the law and the evidence, and not on who you are, your position in the community. So I am not part of the whiskey drinking good old boys club. I am a conservative, lifelong conservative, and I will base my decisions only on the rule of law. Everyone will be treated with dignity and respect in my courtroom.
Perfect. And what is one big change you would like to see in the courtroom, and how would you make that happen?
So as I said, the biggest problem is the backlog. I am a courtroom attorney my entire career, so I've handled large dockets of 60, 70 cases at a time, and I know how to move cases. So there will be regular scheduled dockets and productive dockets, not just bringing people over from the jail, but productive dockets. The lawyers in my courtroom will be held to a high standard of proactively moving their files, and I will show up every single day working for the people of this county. I think people have forgotten that judges are public servants, and my salary is paid by the people in Angelina County, and I promise I will work hard and get rid of a lot of those cases that have been pending for years.
Gotcha. And you're replacing a judge who has been here for a very long time. What would you do differently or carry on the same that he did?
So I think the best thing about Judge Inselman is his public service, and I have a heart for public service as well. So my goal is to continue in that vein. I started our teen court program 3 years ago, so I'm going to continue with that program that helps Class C teens be able to get their cases dismissed. And that's one thing I'm going to continue. The other thing is the drug court program. I think it's a great program. It really helps people that want to help themselves, because I am all about people that want to improve their lives. They need to be accountable, but also the ones that really want to improve their lives. So I will be continuing with the drug court and the safety programs that have been in place for years.
Perfect. And my last question is, what makes you the best candidate from the other two that are running, and why should somebody vote for you?
So what differentiates me from my opponents is I'm a lifelong conservative Republican. Secondly, I have always been a courtroom attorney. Although my opponents have had some trials here and there, my entire career has been built on trials. This position is an 80% criminal position. You're hearing criminal cases 80% of the time. And I'm the only one who's been an assistant district attorney and practiced fully criminal law. So that's what sets me apart, and also just my heart of service. I'm going to serve for this community. I just need a chance, and I humbly ask for your vote.
Perfect. So what made you want to run for judge?
Well, maybe I thought about it a long time, and I believe my experience for the last 34 years serving Angelina County residents as a general practitioner, I think adds value to the court, and I understand how people are, and the value in the information I've received with the legal practice and the knowledge, so forth, makes me a good candidate for it, and that's why I'm running. I want to make sure people have respect for the court, and the judge himself would have respect for the people, and everybody be treated equally, okay? And everybody have fair justice underneath the law, and that the docket move forward, because justice delayed is a justice denied. That's my philosophy. And I believe I have the most experience for the judgeship, and I want to put myself before the people, and they can decide who they want.
Perfect. You kind of talked about it. How will you make sure everyone gets a fair shake in your courtroom?
I like the way you use fair shake, because it tells me you're from East Texas, or okay, and that's my priority, a fair shake. To me, these last 34 years as a private practitioner, as a general practitioner, I've had everybody come through my offices. I've done every type of law there is. I've interviewed and helped people from Zavala, from Diboll, from Pollock, okay, from Houston, from Lufkin, and from Huntington. I mean, from all walks of life in Angelina County. And I believe that experience has instilled in me what the values of East Texas are. And that's what I want to instill in the court if I become the judge, because I'm going to treat everybody with respect and make sure everybody's treated equally, immaterial what their socio-economic class is, or if they're Republican, Democrat, Conservative, whatever. They all get treated equally and fairly, and that's my goal.
Perfect. What is a big change that you would like to see in the courtroom, and how would you make that happen?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I don't know if I want to see a big change done. I don't know if there is a big change needed. The problem with the courts, if it is a problem, is the docket, the cases are not being heard as quickly as possible. And as I said earlier, justice delayed is justice denied, because that affects victims, and it affects people that are accused of crimes and so forth like that. That's why a judge, one of his top priorities ought to be to move the docket, okay? And then when people come in, to make sure you make fair rulings based on the facts and the law. And no judge-made law, okay? I don't believe in that, okay? I believe the rulings need to be based on facts and the law itself, okay? And fairness. Fairness. Everybody keeps screaming about fairness. When they go to court, they don't feel like they're getting treated fairly. Well, I'm going to try to do the best I can because I want to treat everybody equally, because that's the way people should be treated, immaterial of where their status of life is. And that's what my goal is.
Perfect. And you're replacing a famous judge in Angelina County. What would you do?
I like he's a famous judge. Okay. Yeah, okay.
What would you do differently or carry on the same that he did?
I don't think there's much that I would do differently, because I think Judge Eastman has done really well. I mean, he has a drug court. He's helping folks out. And that's the key here. We have, to a certain degree, you know, there's a lot of people that have meth problems. And I deal with it a lot in CPS court here today. The people have meth and they can't take care of the children. And he's got that drug court set up to get them people back into our lives and society where they can become a good person, okay, and follow the law, okay? And so I don't think there's much that needs to be changed from what he's doing. I think he's doing a good job, okay? I'm not saying I'm better than him, no way. But, and he was a general practitioner before he became a judge. So it's just, I don't know how else further to say. I mean, the key is at the end, carry forward his legacy and the judge before him, okay, and the judges for him, because they've all been good judges. One of the good things about Angelina County, the citizens have made good selections for judges, okay? And over these years that I've been here for the last 34 years practicing law, I mean, all the judges, I've dealt with all of them here, and they've been great. And that's what I want to move that forward, to do the same principle, the same things they have done in the past, instead of deferring to do something different, okay? Because it's what we got to do is watch out for the people. And that's my philosophy.
For sure. And my last question is,
yes, ma'am.
What makes you the best candidate from the other two that are running, and why should somebody vote for you?
Good question. Well, I don't, and I'll say, I think my experience as a general practitioner for the last 34 years here in Angelina County, with my office and seeing all these folks and doing with all the different cases and so forth, my experience, I think people want an experienced judge on the bench because they believe that's important, because, you know, you can't have a tunnel vision and so forth like that. You got to have a full picture of everything, which includes how people live and work and what problems they have. And my practice for the last 30 years involved legal issues, and it also involved professional guidance to a lot of people. Because, you know, when they come see me, they're in some bad shape sometimes, and they really need help. And I think that's what you got to remember as a judge. You got to understand that each person comes into the courtroom. You got to treat them with respect, and you got to understand these folks really are concerned about their problems. And you got to take that and you look at it all together. And then you apply the facts to it and the law itself, okay? And you come up with a fairness for everybody. And I think that's important. And I believe I can do that. And I've been here a long time. And I want to give something back to the community. I mean, I've done a lot of things in the community here. I've been social organizations, everything. I got to give something back, and I want to do that. And I think to serve as a judge would do that. And that's what my goal is.